Hello students. In this lecture video, I'll be discussing about the concept of management of natural resources, the topic water. So water is required for all our life processes. It is a basic necessity. And we should see that the availability of water should be there for our future generations and it should not be polluted. So both the things we have to take care of. So let us see that how you can say the water availability is affected in different areas. Like rainfall patterns, we are mainly associated with these monsoons for our crops, for harvesting the crops, as well as it determines largely whether the farmer will suffer losses or will have gains. Then another, the water demanding crops like rice. It needs large amount of water, okay, that's need to be taken care of. So irrigation methods like dams, tanks and canals have been there, which will help in the irrigation process and harvesting of crops. Now in Himachal Pradesh, kuls, which are, you can say, local system of canal irrigation, have been a very successful efforts. Next, coming to dams. Dams are good also in a way that they are the reservoirs of water resources, but a lot of, you can say, criticisms have been there about the dam construction. Let us see in River Ganga, on River Ganga, there is Tehri Dam. Okay, construction of many dams, maybe on Narmada River, called for Save the Narmada movement. So, what are the criticisms? First is the social problems. That is, whatever tribal people are dependent on those large amount of water body, their life is disrupted. Coming to the economic problems, it swallows lot of money in making the dams. Next is environmental problems. Obviously, if we are cutting down a river body to produce a dam, there will be loss of biological diversity. So next concept is water harvesting, which is called as watershed management, which focuses not only on conservation of water but also soil. So various organizations are there which basically set up a rooftop for water collecting units. What main thing is to collect water, rainwater for our future use, like khadins, tanks, naris in Rajasthan, ahars and pines in Bihar, ponds in the Kandi belt of Jammu region, Suringrams in Kerala, and so on. So, various people have come out with different water harvesting techniques, and it dates back to ancient times also. Here you can see the traditional water harvesting system, which is one ideal Khadan system where the water body and the land area is in close contact, called as catchment area. So this is the khadan or cropped area. So with the help of this shallow dug well, the water is harvested over here, and this is going to take up these crops. Okay, the crops are going to take up this water over this area. So this is very much helpful. So advantages of water which is stored in ground, okay, or you can say groundwater, has other advantages also. Firstly, it cannot evaporate, okay, and it can easily percolate to the nearby areas like here, cropped areas. Then the groundwater is not a stagnant water, so it cannot be a breeding ground for mosquitoes, as well as it is free from any contamination by human and animal waste. Next, coming to coal and petroleum. We know these are fossil fuels. Fuels as these are used as fuels, and fossils because it takes millions of years to make these. So these can be exhausted in the future. So we don't want this exhaustion as it is non-renewable resource. So what we are going to do, we are going to avoid the combustion or consumption of coal and petroleum. So what happens when combustion of these takes place in absence of oxygen? There is carbon monoxide which is being formed. So, and in other ways, carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. So burning of fossil fuels can also cause global warming. So it has to be used very, very judiciously so that for the future generations also it is preserved. So let us look at few choices which you can make. Taking a bus, using your personal vehicle, or walking or cycling. I would say that you could carpool or take a public transport. And for a nearby region, if you want to go to a nearby market, you can always prefer walking or cycling instead of using your resources. Next, using bulbs or fluorescent tubes in your homes. You go for CFLs, fluorescent tubes, which will use consume less of electricity. Using lift or staircase usage will not only provide you physical fitness, but also will consume less of the energy of the resources. And lastly, wearing an extra sweater or using a heating device. See, in the cold days, if your purpose is solved by having or wearing one extra jacket, don't go for heaters. Okay, it is consuming energy, consuming electricity. So save electricity, save water, save our Mother Earth. So the take home message from this chapter is that natural resources should be managed sustainably. Sustainable management means that we are taking into consideration our future generations. We have to preserve our resources for our future generations.